G'day viewers. I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about this photo shoot that you're about to see. As photographers, we expect things to go perfectly well all the time, and we like people to think that they go perfectly well all the time, but that's not always the case. Sometimes when we've had a few successes with our photography, we start to get a little bit cocky with our, in regard to our skills and the way we plan shoots and things, and occasionally things go wrong. And that's what happened with this shoot. It was nobody else's fault but mine, and I'm going to explain to you why that happened. The idea was to shoot a shot of a model on a horse up at beautiful Berrubi Beach up in north of Newcastle in Australia. Everything was perfect, the sunrise was coming up. I got everybody out of bed early to drive up to Berrubi to get everything done. Now, what I wanted to get was a sharp image of our horse and rider and a sharp image of our sunset in the background, of our sunrise, sorry, in the background. The issue was that I was limited to a flash sync speed of 1/200th of a second, as most of our cameras are. Now I wanted to use flash with the soft light to light my subject. So at 1/200th of a second with a moving subject, I got some motion blur in the picture. My flash exposure gave me a sharp image, but I still had a bit of ghosting around the outside of my main subject, which was the horse and the rider. Now I didn't notice this on the day. I should have noticed it because it's happened to me previously, but I didn't. I checked my image on my screen and everything looked fine. I checked my histogram, everything looked fine, so I continued shooting. It wasn't until after the shoot that I noticed that I had this ghosting on the images. Now a little bit of Photoshop work helped. It didn't make them perfect, but it helped, and it salvaged the results from the shoot. But I was a little bit down on myself because of the mistake that I made. Now, how could I have done anything any better? There's a couple of things. I hear people yelling high-speed sync, high-speed sync. High-speed sync would not have worked for me in this situation because I wanted to get my background sharp as well as my subject. When we use high-speed sync, our flash power is really restricted, and we need to use very large apertures to get our exposure on our subject correct. So I didn't want to throw that background totally out of focus. I wanted my background to be in focus as well. So high-speed sync wouldn't have worked for me. The second possibility would have been maybe to use rear curtain sync on my camera, which means that the flash will fire just before the shutter closes. That would have helped because any motion blur would have been behind my subject rather than in front. But I didn't think of that at the time. It wouldn't have solved the problem totally, but it would have made it look a little bit better. Another idea would have been to use a camera with a higher sync speed. There aren't many of them around, but I did have one in my camera bag at the time. I had a Nikon that synchronises at 1/1600th of a second. So I could have used that on the day, but again, I didn't think of that. So for all these solutions were there, but I just didn't think of it on the day. Which is why I was a little bit disappointed with the results that we got. Everybody else worked fine, the team worked terrifically. Tara and Boris, who was the horse, did a fantastic job. Robbie did a great video, but sometimes these things don't work out perfectly the way we expect them to. So we can always go back and reshoot, but it's a big production to get all that stuff done. So have a look at the video, see what you think, have a look at the results. But I just wanted to let you know that things don't always go according to plan. We're here at magnificent Berrubi Beach, just north of Newcastle in Australia, for a sunrise shoot. We've got Tara coming with a horse. We're going to shoot shots of Tara in the surf with the horse, with the sunrise behind her. We're hoping that we're going to get a good sunrise. It's looking pretty good. So we've got to just position Tara in a way so that sunrise is in behind her. We're going to use a softbox with a flash to light her, so that we're going to be able to balance that light properly. Basically, our camera settings will give us our sunset in the background, and our flash power will give our light on our subject. Okay. That's it, great. Just look back that way. That's great. That's good, Michael. Yes, beautiful. Look out over my head, Tara.